I've never body checked anyone.
That's about
good.
to happen then.
That'd be funny though if you did.
But she's not above it.
That's what exactly.
They'd be like Riley and Inside
That's your
Out.
error.
Yeah.
That's your hair.
She has cardio. She can take you out. So
Do
yeah.
it, Rachel.
They do
Do
track.
it.
If you see Rachel coming, you just make a whole line. Just part the Red Sea. Let her go right.
Just let me through. I'm on a mission.
That's it.
Zippity doo dah, this is Bear Rabbit, and I gotta tell you, I find a great laughing place listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel. Zippity doo dah.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic our way.
The Magic Our Way podcast. They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libation.
Feel it. Feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is the show where every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this show. We have a follow-up to Am I the Bad Guy? Back on 543. Listen to that. Plus, we share some of our own stories of whether or not we are the bad guys. So listen in, make your judgment today. And look, this isn't your typical polish, practice, pixie dust and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in California, letting you know that the Muppet Studios lot, which was originally Charlie Chaplin Studios, has been bought by the Church of Scientology.
They're refuting that, by the way. Muppets are refuting this. Because that's even too out there for the Muppets.
Is Tom Cruise buying?
I think so.
Oh, we.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and tell you that if you want us to be the bad guy, fine. Now we're the bad guy.
Yeah, you listeners have the easy part. All you guys have to do is to listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Rachel.
And in studio, we have a special guest. Special guest, who are you?
I'm JP. And I'm Josh.
Our California correspondents in studio here in New Orleans. They came in. This is day one. Thanks for joining us, man. We're looking forward to
Yes.
hanging out with you as well as recording the show with you guys.
We're excited.
And look, the easiest way to support us is to book a vacation with Rachel, and a little piece of that comes back to support us. Also, please leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show. And make sure that you like and subscribe as well as turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. Also, we want to thank our Patreon supporters for all that they do for us. All right, y'all, so enough about jibber jabber. Let's go discuss whether or not we are the bad guy. Welcome to the Hub, our main topic segment of our show. And as I mentioned in the intro, we are revisiting one of the Am I a Bad Guy segments that we talked about. And apparently this particular piece, which happens to be the last one that we talked about on that particular show, which was 2 shows before. So what was that, 543, I believe? Go back and listen to that. This is our first Am I the Bad Guy? And this is a new series of shows, just like we had Bad Behavior or Quest for the Best, that kind of stuff. So this one happened to get a lot of response, especially from a lot of the long time on weekends. So we had Josh, we had JP, who was in the studio, along with I don't know if Josh had a response, but maybe we'll get his response on there. JP's Josh, but we'll see. Who knows?
Can we do like Josh 1 and Josh 2?
Robert's Josh?
Yeah, because I can't.
Yeah.
How do you distinguish the Joshes?
A lot of Joshes.
Josh
Yes.
R. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And Rachel's Josh is used to finishing in second place, so she'd be Josh 2 and he'd be Josh 1.
Poor guy.
Oh. And Josh is somewhere emailing the show right now as we speak.
I want to gripe.
I was testing to make sure he's not listening.
Yes,
He's not.
Oh, good.
That's funny.
But anyway, so the last story on that show, I'll go ahead and read it for those that have never listened to that show. This is the first show that you've listened to us. But basically we did an Am I the Bad Guy show, which is basically the same as AITA or Am I the Asshole? And so the story goes like this. AITA for going around people in a pre-show room to be closer to the door. And this person says, I got to know because I do this often because some people seem fine with it, but I've also run into a few dirty looks. I'll often go to the parks by myself. I actually now work back here. I despise cutting at most capacities. However, there has always been one exception in my book, and it's probably because I do it myself all the time. If you are part of a huge family and the cast member says, take up all available space, and we are in an area that is not an actual line, parentheses, think pre-show areas, the library in Tower of Terror, showroom and Dinosaur, the stretcher room in Haunted Mansion, just to name a few. As a single rider, I will walk around you if there's an opening to be closer to the door when it opens. Now, I'm not pushing people over, so that's so rude. But if a giant space that's easily reachable and wide enough for me to comfortably fit in parentheses, I'm not forcing myself in between people either, so he's not doing any of that, I think it's reasonable. If I'm in the park with friends or family, I don't mind if other single riders do the same. I think it's only fair considering they're one person and we clearly weren't taking that space, but I want to know what other people think. I'm not jumping around them in actual lines, but I think non-line areas, we are free game. And with that, on that particular episode, if you listen to it, Danny and Eli found them to be the bad guy. I myself did not find that person to be the bad guy, which solicited a bunch of different responses. Okay.
Yes.
Did. I'll go ahead and take some time to go through responses, and then we can all, as a collective whole, respond to this thing together. Because, yeah, this is definitely a thing that happens in the Disney parks.
Well, clearly this merited a conversation, at least.
It did. It merited conversation, and we're glad people enjoy this particular show series. So if you want to listen, if you want to hear more about it, write into us, show@magicourway.com, especially if you have your own stories to tell about this particular situation. We'd love to hear it, and we can, I guess, pass judgment, for lack of a better way to say it, whether you think you're the bad guy or not. But first of all, my friend Kevin, Free the Three. Kevin, He says, I absolutely move closer to the stretching room exit when entering, but it's mainly to avoid the disorganized crush of people heading to the ride queue once the door opens. I don't care about getting a jump on others. By the way, there is an even easier way to know where the exit is from the stretching room. And so he leaves it at that. And then we have Gene H., who's a longtime listener, frequent commenter on our stuff. He says, I'm with Kevin on that last one. If you're told to do something and then don't, the person listening to the instructions, regardless of what knowledge they may or may not have, is not the bad guy. And he leaves it at that. And then Captain Cajun, Kirk, Cajun Chavez, he said he had a headache. He's like, are you comparing it to actual robbery? I can't believe you're comparing this to insider knowledge about knowing where the door is. And he couldn't believe that you're imparting this particular point to my wife cheating on me. He's talking about the issue that Danny raised on that show, 543, if you haven't listened, about is he the bad guy or are they not the bad guy if the person doesn't know. And then we go to the Revenges, who happen to be online. Josh wrote in, and he says, gentlemen, and in parentheses, since Rachel wasn't part of the discussion, although she did comment, Josh says, I just finished the Am I a Bad Guy episode, and Kevin is 100% right. Danny and Eli, you were too caught up on the Haunted Mansion, which is one of dozens of examples. I present to you the following scenario. We've been in line for Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, and finally enter the pre-show room. Everyone in front of me walks to the center of the room. They're looking around, and the cast member instructs us to fill in all available space. I happen to know the location of the pre-show exit, so I make an immediate right. In parentheses, I think it's a right. I actually suck at this and usually follow my travel agent's lead. I'm assuming that travel agent is Rachel.
I would hope so, or else there might be problems in the
I'm
household.
about to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to start anything, Rachel, so just, you can clarify that. But anyway, he continues to say, to, in quotes, fill in all available space, which also happens to be closer to the door. By your logic, I've just cut in front of everyone, while in reality, I was listening to the direction of the cast member whose sole purpose is to get everyone in that room as quickly and safely as possible so the pre-show can start. If the space is open and I'm told to fill it, I think it is fair game. The same can be said about the Tower of Terror or Mission Breakout, and in some cases, by doing that, I am sacrificing a better view of the pre-show.
That's true.
And then Rachel said in our group text, we do have a group text for the podcast, that's why we prepare for things. She said, and I quote, I just had a chance to listen to AITA. I am that bad guy. I am shameless about it. I love that.
I am.
I
shameless
take
about
my
it.
whole family through those doors,
Yeah, I do.
Josh included. So that is where we at. We figured that is a good place to kind of follow up with that particular episode.
Like, can I just
Again, it's episode 543 if you want to listen to it. But these are all the comments that we got. And so, yeah, this is definitely a thing that happens in Disney parks.
I just want to thank Rachel for saying that. Like, I am shameless about this. I will do this, and I don't care who has an opinion about it one way or the other.
It's true.
I appreciate that level of honesty. I think that is a level of honesty that this conversation needs.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I take all four of us. Kids, we're going right. When we get in that door, hard right.
Hard
Follow
right.
Mom.
And of course, JP, he texted us because you can text the show.
Yes.
And we get those responses. We do listen because, as we said, all opinions are welcome. I didn't read his because he's here in the studio, as I mentioned in the very
Yay.
intro. And so I'll give a chance for JP to say what he thought about that particular episode or that particular piece of the episode. I don't know what you thought about the other thing. Do you want me to read what you wrote, or do I need to go
I
back?
try to bring up my text messages.
I mean, look, we've had dinner beforehand. We had many drinks, and this is our first time in New Orleans, so we're having a great time.
Oh, we loaded him up beforehand.
Yeah, he's doing great. So if you need me to read it, I'll be more than happy to do it for you.
I was borderline diabetic, and now I think I'm for sure diabetic.
You're fully committed to being diabetic.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
No, I basically said to leave Kevin alone.
That's pretty much about right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I agree with Josh, the Robert Josh, that the cast members are trying to get those guests in to the areas, and if they're just stopping and they're blocking people, then that is really irritating, especially as a guest to me.
Okay. So that was the long and short of his text.
Okay.
And of course, we know JP's Josh. Do you have anything you'd like to contribute to this conversation, or what do you think as being a California correspondent?
I mean, for me, when I go into those waiting areas, I am, again, going by the instruction of the cast member. So I'm filling in the space. And if that means I'm by the door before everyone else who was ahead of me, then I'm there. So
So be it.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So where would we like to take this?
I would like to start with this fill in all available space thing.
Yes, go ahead. please.
Okay, so since when does fill in all available space mean pick your ideal spot and occupy it?
When does it doesn't?
Because
when does
I've
it
been
not?
in rooms with the cast member. I've been in the instruction room where people stop and they pick a spot and the cast member will come over. Usually fill in all available space. What that means is we're trying to pack you in elbow to elbow like sardines because we're trying to get as many people in here as possible.
Correct.
If you
Yeah.
stop
Mhm.
right here because this is where you want to stand, this is not good for us. And I've seen cast members usher people off the spot and said, "Sir, keep moving forward. Keep moving. We're trying to get more and more people here." So people who stand there and occupy a spot, I just find it to be a highly prejudicial interpretation of this phrasing, fill in all available space. I don't know how people are walking away with, I get to stand wherever I want and I'm going to stand right there and I'm not going anywhere. I don't understand how y'all are getting that.
How are we getting, like, what do you think we're getting at with
You're-
that? Because filling all available space means to me, is there's space, I'm going to take it.
Right.
Right.
That,
But it sounds like you're insinuating something else.
no, what I'm saying is
filling.
fill in all available space means keep going until you don't see carpet.
Yeah.
It
that makes sense
doesn't
to
mean
me.
stop right by
where
the
you
damn
are.
door.
No, that's no different than the theaters when people stop in the middle of the row and it's like,
Right.
fill into the end, especially when we know it's a busy day.
Okay, so can
Yes.
we agree that those people are the bad guy?
Yes, I would agree that it's bad because they're not listening to what the cast members say.
So how is this any different?
Oh, it's very much different.
Okay, that's what I'm listening for.
Yeah, I mean, because if you have, by your point, if they're filling in every bit of space, then they should be filling in every piece of carpet, right?
Right.
But if somebody's just stopping there and that person who in this email is going around to fill in said space that person is not occupying in, then they're totally fine.
No, he's trying to get to a space that he can't otherwise get to.
Yeah, but he's not bumping anybody, but it's a space that somebody else left.
No, but he's going, I think his words were, I'm going around people and I will walk around you to get to that space. Now
Right.
he's defining, I feel it's comfortable, but it's his definition of what's comfortable.
Yeah, but
It
it's
may
your
not-
definition of like what's around you. Like what's the personal space that occupies you?
Right.
So
And
define that.
my personal space might not be somebody brushing up against me as I'm trying to.
But
pay
he didn't
attention.
say he was brushing up against anybody because that would be very rude, as he says.
I would agree that would be very
Yes.
rude. But if he's talking about he's going around people and he's walking around people in a tight, squeezed in area like that, what is the chances that he's not actually touching people?
But if he's very deliberate in not doing so, then can you blame him for it?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, absolutely not.
This is like a weird loophole that happened.
There's no loophole. It's
Well,
either you're getting into somebody or not.
Here's the loophole.
All right, so what's the loophole?
The loophole is the cast member. Whoever tells the group of people to get in, and each person's story, they never say the cast member says, hey, head towards that light over there. Why? Because if they did, there'd be a whole mob of people running towards the door because everybody wants to see the ride first. So cast member don't want nobody to get stumped on like it's like Black Friday or something right before Thanksgiving. So they say, please fill in spaces. But this guy, again, is taking advantage of a blank direction. Now, granted, they're not pushing anybody, but they also work at this place. So they know where to go, exactly where to go, while other people don't. If they did, they would head towards the light. But they're not directed to do that.
Define everybody wants to see the ride first.
You just defined it.
No.
Okay.
I don't quite understand that.
This is your job. This is your. I did mine, right?
No, but I asked
got
you
it,
the
got it.
question because you threw that in the exam, so I'm asking you specifically.
You just defined it.
No, there's
The
what's
person
definition?
says, "How do I get in the front of the line?"
So you're assuming everybody wants to see the ride first?
Yeah, that's why you pay to go on the ride, isn't it?
No.
You don't go to
No, my
You don't go
experience
on
is
the
that
ride?
people are just waiting around and they'll get to the ride when they get to the ride.
Oh yeah, right.
You
on.
know, like so. But the people leaving that space
Yeah.
for other people are going to take advantage of it because you're not taking advantage of it yourself. So this guy that did that or says that he's making his way through, it's like I don't fault him for doing that. It's like if no one wants to fill in the space that you're being instructed to fill and it's there, then by all means go ahead and do it. Like
But-
it's been my experience that people don't move themselves ahead and fill in the space or listen to instruction.
Okay.
What if there is like 15 feet of available space to this guy's immediate right, but he's not going there because he doesn't want to fill in that available space. He wants to be by the door because that seems to be this guy's modus operandi is that he wants to be by the door. He's not trying to fill in all available space.
Mm-hmm.
And what about
door is that again?
the door to the Haunted Mansion stretching?
Oh, any ride,
or any ride
Any
for that
ride.
matter.
Just to get to the front of any ride.
Just to get to the front.
Yeah.
If you occupy a space,
Mm-hmm.
that's not filling in all available space.
So your argument said he's not following the rules, which I can see.
100%.
So that means that I would be the bad guy because this is what I do. Because I don't like fighting sheep. Because if you listen to the show, I talk about how like people when they get into the parks, they act like sheep.
Mhm.
They don't see that they go through these 3 lines to get into the park when there's like 5, 6, 7 lines that are wide open, and all the cast members are like, get over here. And so I go over there and I get in the park easily while everybody's still in line. So what I do is when, especially like let's say Mickey's Runaway, for example, Mickey's Runaway Railway, they'll say fill in all available space. Everybody's pushing towards the front. My family, we sit all the way in the back, and I let everybody like once Goofy blows through and everybody shoves through the wall. Me and my family sashay through that opening, and we're totally stress free.
Okay, so
So
here's
in that definition, I guess I'm the bad guy.
that's my thing because to me you're ignoring the cast members' request to fill in.
But that wasn't your point on the podcast, though. Your
No.
point on the podcast was that the person that was going into it and getting looks because they were trying to get to someplace and they're distracting the members
Yeah.
was the bad guy because they were doing that to the people that are around them.
Because we
Correct.
were addressing that guy's
we were
issue.
addressing his issue of walking in and around people,
Right.
And I said that would be distracting.
Right.
But y'all are the ones who keep bringing up fill in all available space, and to me, fill in all available spaces, squinch in as much as possible because we got
Sure.
more people to get in here.
Yeah, I see where the point is you're going, but I still think you're wrong.
Oh, no,
And
fair
I
enough,
still
fair enough.
like I'm totally fine. Yes, maybe I'm wrong for not listening to the cast member and filling in forward, but I also know it's like I don't want to be trampled by all the people just like trying to
right.
get to the front and get to whatever.
Which
I
is
would
why they
agree.
don't tell you, hey, go to the light. That's where the front
I
is.
do that
'cause
in
you be
Dinosaur.
trampled.
I do that in Indiana Jones. I do that in all the different kind of attractions that have those big gathering corrals, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Mhm.
Right.
Because usually at that point, once you're in there, you're in there.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. It was especially with like Alien Encounter.
Mhm.
It's like once you get into the corral part, you're in that show.
Yeah.
The people that are in the corral you're in that show. So it didn't matter where you're going.
Mhm.
Eventually, you're going to get in there.
And
Right.
and to go back to what you were saying, that's why I made that original point in the podcast. Was like, this guy thinks, hey, I'm going to walk in between people as long as it's comfortable, but it's comfortable by his definition. Meanwhile, he's saying people are giving me looks. So his definition may not apply to the people that he's walking in between. They might be getting a little bit too close for their comfort.
Right. Or he might
That's
be walking in
what
front
I
of
was
them looking
replying
at
to.
too.
But now that I'm hearing 4 or 5 people use this term, fill in all available space, I'm like, I can't imagine if I emailed Disney right now and I said, what do you mean by fill in all available space? Do I get to pick any spot I want and just stand there? I can't imagine they're going to say yes.
Well, no, of course not.
Okay,
but
then-
at the same time, it's okay.
Then how is this following the cast member's instructions?
It's just what I said.
Yeah, but how is that person a bad guy if they're not doing anything
because
wrong?
they're not following the cast member's
But that
instructions.
person that's going around and getting past people is filling available space, whereas the person that's not.
No, he's filling
Is
his
not.
space.
Yeah.
No,
doing
he's
what he
filling in
wants to do.
space. That person left the space.
If somebody comes in your house and they say, I feel like being comfortable, and they take their shoes off and put it on your coffee table.
That's called like a home invasion.
No, that's
that's home invasion.
That's not.
No, I think the
That's not home
analogy. No, I
invasion.
think the analogy you want is like if you're in traffic
No.
and you got 2 car lengths and somebody jumps in front of you, you think that dude's an asshole,
No.
but he has every right to be in that lane.
No.
Not if you got to slam on the brakes to avoid
No,
hitting
if
him.
it's your
Let's
rules.
not get into traffic because
Yes.
Oh no, let's get into traffic.
Yeah.
hate it
What?
when people leave
Oh.
multiple car lengths in front of them.
Oh, let's get into traffic.
Okay, traffic.
Oh,
it is.
because that's the perfect example that goes with us.
I wanted to say comfortable, just you have rules set, and this person just breaking them because they feel comfortable in how they do things. That
Well,
causes.
if it's somebody you don't know that wasn't invited, then yeah, that's
no,
home
I'm
invasion.
not. Well, no, you invite them in. They
Yeah, if
pay.
you invite
They
them
pay
in.
to visit you.
I don't know if this helps, but like I said, this is something I do frequently.
Okay.
I do it not just by myself, but when I'm with my family. Like recently, I went with a family of 6. Like I was one of 6 because my parents were with us, and we did it then too. And it might have made me the asshole, but I'm not sure I care.
And I am 1,000% with Rachel on this one.
If you want to say,
I like Rachel, and I said it on the show. I'm not saying the dude's necessarily but there's 2 options here. You're either the
No,
bad
wait,
guy.
finish your statement. You're saying the dude's necessarily what?
I was going to say a-hole, but I don't want to do any more
No,
editing.
no, it's fine. Please do.
And that's why-
that makes a complete,
that's
you're
why I
editing
changed
this
that
it.
makes a complete difference.
I'm editing, so that, allow me
see how you
editorial
do that?
control, Kevin.
No, but I am going to make sure that you're
See how
wrong.
you do that, dude? He tell
You're
you
gonna
what your
make
audience.
sure I'm
you're
wrong
wrong,
when I
yeah.
finish my statement, not in
Yes,
between
please.
my statement.
happened?
That
Oh, I'm
would be
sorry. I didn't mean to
helpful.
make you cry.
I'm
You didn't make me
fragile.
cry. You just made me lose my train of thought.
I know. Perfect. I won.
You know,
Thank
and
you.
I just did it too. And then I was listening to this show, and I heard you guys saying it so much, and I was like, come on, they can't just say bad guy, poor Danny. And then I just did it. So it is hard not to do.
Thank you,
It's
Rachel.
Ramone, yes.
Okay, so to go back to my original point before I
Yes,
was so
go ahead.
rudely interrupted,
I will rudely interrupt anytime. Yes, thank you.
Ouch.
my point with all of that was I didn't say, and if you go back and listen to that show, because clearly you have,
I have, yes.
I
'Cause
said
you
in the
edited it.
show that he wasn't necessarily a bad guy, but there's 2 choices. I said he was selfish, and since I have to choose between not or is, I had to go with is because I felt he was selfish, which is why we played the clip. You're a bad guy, but you are not bad guy.
This is true because we got to that ending. Yes,
You see, if you wouldn't have interrupted me, we could have got
we could have
to
gotten to that
harmony
ending, yes.
a little bit easier.
a little bit easier, but no.
But he was an
absolutely
agent
not.
of chaos for those last
I'll still
2
stick with the
minutes.
point that he's not a bad guy.
But are these people blocking? They're taking up space to the point where other people are left longer in line.
I
Because
would
if this gentleman is like, okay, he sees a space by the door and he moves to the door without pushing anybody, I don't see there's a problem because he's making available space for maybe more guests to come in.
And I would agree with that. If there is a beeline that he can just walk right over to that door over there and no one else files in, he's cool. But again, the reason I went with this is because the guy specifically said that he was going around people and I will walk around you to get to where I want to go. That's the only reason I went with that. And I've seen that happen when you walk into and I know Josh said about it's not just a haunted, we're focused on the haunted mansion. He's right. Like I just picked that as an example just because that's what I'm most familiar with. I've only
I do
ridden
it there
guard.
too.
I'm sorry?
I said I do it there too.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
I love Rachel's honesty.
we don't have enough information from the statement to say how much personal space is there that this person can shimmy his way.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know at what point he is shimmying, because if the show has started, you're going to be distracting.
Yes.
So if they're filling the room, that would be the point where you can shimmy.
Right.
But if the pre-show has started, then we may have some concerns that you're distracting people, and that's why you're getting looks.
And that's exactly what I went by, JP, is the fact that he's getting looks means this, and I've seen it happen before in the stretching room, where 9 times out of 10 when that happens, it's generally the last people who get in, and they know where they want to go, and so they're the ones who work their way around. Where it's, if you get in and there's a clear path between you and the door, there's no problem with going over there and standing over there.
Yeah.
But once the cast members keep saying, hey, fill in all available space, if there's 15 feet of carpet between you and the next person, you're standing in the middle, and you need to move to the side to allow more space.
But cast members don't correct for that, do they?
Oh, I've seen them. I have
They
seen
correct-
them
they've
walk
correct-
over.
No. Let me get back to the point. So if they get dirty looks, no, I'm making a point. No, I'm making a point.
I'm just laughing because I interrupted you. You interrupted me, and then I interrupted. And you're like, no. Let me make my point.
But I won. But cast members don't correct and say, I know. It's amazing that I can be that way. But anyway, it's like cast members don't correct is like if you get into the show room last and you cause a distraction. But I don't think cast members correct people for when they like the last people to go in, and maybe they could be distraction, especially if the pre-show starts. I don't never notice them correcting people like stop moving or something or whatever else. Like if they're trying to shimmy or whatever, do what they trying to get into the showroom, however fashion they did.
I would rather have somebody shimmying through the pre-show quietly than everybody stating the Haunted Mansion pre-show.
Oh,
I hate that.
Drives me insane.
Oh my God.
100%.
Now
Yeah.
you're being very disruptive.
Yes.
to those
100%.
who don't know about it.
That person is the bad guy.
Yes, I think we even said that on the last show as well. That yes, that is again, you're spoiling the experience for everybody else. You're inserting yourself into the show.
Correct. Yeah, you're showing that you've been here before. You know exactly what's happening. Yeah, I don't like that either.
No.
That
I do
happens
also
in the-
think there are some rides that it's worth doing this, like position yourself in a certain place by a certain door, and there's certain ones that it really isn't. So like Haunted Mansion, like I've done it there for sure, but it's not really like the amount of people in that stretching room and how fast that line goes as an Omni mover is not like you're saving yourself a minute. Like it's not that
Right.
big of a difference.
That is crucial.
But Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is a much bigger difference because that pre-show room is much larger. It holds much more people and the load process is longer. So that one I'm like, I'm not going to say I've pushed people out of the way, but I have been
Aggressive.
determined in the direction that I am progressing my family in.
You don't get to be number one without being aggressive, Rachel.
Yeah,
that's right.
No shame in that. And the only reason we didn't bring up Cosmic Rewinds is because the guy mentioned Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror, and Dinosaur. Those are the only three that I remember him mentioning.
But it was an example of queue areas
Yes.
like that.
And
Yeah.
You could the Cosmic Rewind's totally valid. And
it
so
is
like-
valid.
yeah,
Absolutely is
like
valid.
This is still like Lord of the Flies though for getting in line. That's what it all sounds like to me. It's so aggro,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love in Filler Magic where people are just like clamoring to get in. They want to be first through the doors, and I just walk through, and it's like I got my pick of the rows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like let's see
Yeah.
which row is like filled closest to the center, and then I just pick that row.
I agree. I
I love that. That's
Yeah.
a tactic I do, and usually I got to teach my kids. It's like, hey, hold on a second, trust me,
Right.
Yeah.
And then they walk up
Yes.
through, and it's like everybody's just like clamming through. Like
Having
like
said
sheep.
that, though,
Yeah.
I have seen people fill her magic, stop, hold up everybody else
No,
while they
it's-
start trying to shimmy their way up to the front row.
that's the worst.
Oh,
yeah.
that shit.
I've seen that happen. I've seen
Especially when the cast members on a busy day are like,
Yes.
"Come on, get to the end of the row,
Right.
filling all of us, keep going."
I've seen cast members in
It's the
the
worst.
Haunted Mansion literally tell people move.
Yeah.
We're trying to get more people in here. And that's why, like I said, to me, it came down to this interpretation. Like I said, it just seems highly prejudicial that I just get to stand in a space and occupy it. It's like, no. They want to squeeze as many people in here as possible.
Absolutely.
And then in that instance, if you're not complying with the cast members' instructions, which it seems to be this guy's justification for doing it,
Because he used to work there.
then yeah, I got it. That's why I went with that. Having said it, to Rachel, what Rachel said, I think sums it up perfectly. It's like, yeah, I don't mind it. If you're going to do it, man, own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freaking own it. Don't just be like, but I'm not really the bad guy for doing. Nah, man, just you made a decision.
But I don't think Rachel's the bad guy for that.
She says she's the bad guy.
She can own it all she wants, but it's all about perception. I don't.
She's
I wouldn't, if I
adult
saw her
enough to
doing that
say.
in her family, I'd be like, hey, look, there's Rachel.
That's 'cause
and they're
you-
like, yeah, it's
That's
fine.
because you
never-
know she'll
Whatever.
check you.
I've never body checked anyone.
That's about
good.
to happen then.
That'd be funny though if you did.
But she's not above it.
That's what exactly.
They'd be like Riley and Inside
That's your
Out.
error.
Yeah.
That's your hair.
She has cardio. She can take you out. So
Do
yeah.
it, Rachel.
They do
Do
track.
it.
If you see Rachel coming, you just make a whole line. You just part the Red Sea. Let her
Just,
go right
just let
to
me
that.
through. I'm on a mission.
That's it.
Oh yeah, so we got that out of the way. We revisited something we talked about back in 543. So we figured we'd talk about our own particular stories of whether or not we feel like we're the bad guy or not. So yeah, here's our chance. This is the Mohicans.
And you get to judge us now.
Yes, judge away, please. Let us know whatever else. And we're gonna tell our stories. We're gonna discuss. And so yeah, who's got one that they want to partake?
I would love to hear y'all's take on this.
Oh,
All
boy.
right. So, when Lily was 6 years old, we went to Disney World.
Nope.
And already, man, dang it.
Shut down.
It's like the Gong Show. I didn't even get to do my act.
The damn Spumoni.
Oh.
Spumoni.
Here comes the Sandman.
Yeah, it's Apollo sweeping up stage.
Oh, man.
No, okay. So Lily was 6, and we invited Anna's grandmother to come along because she is Lily's great grandmother, and she's 82 years old. And at 82 years old, now she's 90. Woman's 90. She's in tremendous shape, and she refused to even have a wheelchair. She's getting around pretty well, but walking around Disney World after 3 or 4 days, things start to hurt a little bit, right?
Oh yes.
So this particular day, it was Lily's time to go to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. And we took her in there and she got made up to be Belle. And she looked beautiful. I mean, she was radiant. She walked out of there smiling. She's having the time of her life. We leave out of there. We go sit down to eat because we're all hungry. We grab counter service. I can't remember where. And my wife pulls me to the side and says, my grandmother's tired. She wants to go back to the room. Let's all go back to the room now. And I said, no. I was like, Lily just got made up to be Belle. She's Belle. She's in the Magic Kingdom.
I think
I'm
I
gonna-
remember this story.
You've heard this story before?
I swear you've talked about it before.
Okay.
I think yeah, but I mean, not maybe not in this context.
Yeah,
Maybe not in
yeah,
this
yeah,
context.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going. Sorry.
So she's like, no, I think we really ought to just all go back to the room. And I'm like, you and grandma can go back to the room, but Lily's Belle. She's in the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to take her to see Enchanted Tales of Belle. Like, I'm going to let her be Belle. What does it matter that we spent hundreds of dollars to get her made up to be Belle and she just goes back to the room? I was like, let her have her moment. Now, Lily's oblivious to all of this. She doesn't even know we're having this discussion. Needless to say, my wife gets mad. She shuts down. She won't speak to me for the rest of the trip. And her and the grandmother leave. Lily and I stay in the Magic Kingdom and have the time of our lives. Now, in that situation, for insisting that Lily stay in the Magic Kingdom, was I the bad guy?
No.
Thank you, JP.
I'll turn to her. Let
Thank
you
you,
guys
thank you,
answer
thank you.
first.
I think there might have been need for more communication between you and Anna.
Tell me something I don't know.
Oh,
Because
boy.
was she because
Yes.
she had a point, like her grandmother was not feeling it.
Right.
And we, in fact, my grandfather
Mhm.
was aging when we went into Walt Disney World, and he's normally he was agile at the time, and all of a sudden one day he just stopped, and
We were at
we were
Epcot.
walking, and
We
he
were
just
at Epcot.
literally stopped, and he's like, I can't walk anymore. And so thank goodness a cast member came and they brought us a wheelchair, and so we had to use a wheelchair for the rest of the trip. But I think if you spent the money on that whole bitty whatever it is,
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
yeah, I don't have kids, if you guys so if you spent the money on that, you definitely want to take advantage of it.
I agree.
So I don't see a concern splitting like you guys did.
Right.
And that way, but I don't know why maybe Anna was upset about it. Maybe because she didn't get to experience it and she had to be the responsible one and take her grandmother back.
And I think that's exactly what her position is like, well, if I got to go back, you got to go back. I think that was the idea behind it. And if it was any other day, I would have gone back, but it was just happened to be that particular day.
Was there a discussion on who could take?
No, she was already assured that she was going back with her grandma, because her grandmother didn't even tell me she was tired. It was, she told Anna, and Anna's like, okay, we need to go now. And I was like, no, we can't.
I mean, just that with the cast member bringing the wheelchair that time. I mean, just there are solutions to that to keep everyone in the park. You know, I don't think that your party should have had to split up.
We even offered to do that. She just would not want to. I think it was a pride thing.
Yeah.
Kevin?
I don't think you were the bad guy at all.
No.
This whole thing on like a Disney vacation was like all for one for all. It's like, no, there's things that happen. Like even when we went on a podcast trip, there was a point where we went to Disneyland. I think it was the last time we met up with JP and Josh when we were over there in Disneyland. It's like, there's a point where I was like, man, I'm freaking exhausted, because we're hitting it, we're pounding it. So I went back to the hotel. We took a nap. That's where we kind of went our different ways. If we didn't have a certain understanding, I was like, yeah, we're going to meet up later and it's going to be no problem, but I just need this moment. I mean, then there would have been issues, but there was no issues.
No.
I mean, we had a great dinner. Y'all did what y'all wanted to do. I guess Kirk and them did what they want to do. I got a nap, which I sorely needed because my dogs were killing me. But yeah, it's like it's even with a big group, it's like you're gonna have people that are doing things that have different schedules, maybe have different needs. It's like, you can't be expected to all do the same thing at the same time. Right. So Leah, if Lily is still raring to go and she's all dressed up and you're willing to do it, then by all means, man, let's divide and conquer. You take care of your grandma because she's got her needs and stuff. And heck, if she wanted to, she could have split the difference. It's like, hey, all right, you do this for about an hour. I don't know if you would have done this, but maybe you come back to the hotel, watch grandma while I go hang out with Lily for a little bit, get some pictures done, that kind of stuff. You would have split the time, then maybe that would have been cool too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I don't know if that was communicated or not, but that could have been a nice little, like a midway point that could have been done for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But Eli knows this better than anybody. When my wife shuts down, she shuts down.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing can be done about that. No, I don't think you're the bad guy either. Mainly because you're in Disney with your daughter. That's that's a trip that you're only gonna have a handful of times, especially at that age, and she's feeling the magic. Like, that's the point. Yes. To what Josh said, yes, of course. Wheelchair would have been nice, but I know Oma too, and she would not have had it. It's a very proud family of women, and you do not want to go up against them. Trust me, I went up against the mom once on an art lesson, and I've still not forgotten that. So yeah, there was nothing he could do on that, but he made sure his daughter had a good time, and that's what it was about. So yeah,
I'm gonna take a quick second and advocate for my girl Anna over here.
Oh no.
Just a minute. So my only thought here is that perhaps she was also really excited about seeing Lily all done up, and she just wanted to stay together so that she could also enjoy Lily being Belle at the resort and then going back later maybe. And she just kind of wanted to keep the family unit together because it was a special time. That's all. I wonder maybe if that's what she was thinking.
Where were you staying?
We were staying at the Grand Floridian, but and this is what I'll say to Rachel's point. We had dinner reservations at the California Grill for later on that night.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
we could have all reconvened back at the California Grill. Anna no-showed it along with the grandma. They didn't show up.
Oh,
So yeah.
So you were in real trouble.
Yeah, she didn't speak to me until we were on the plane, I want to say.
Oh.
But like but what you just said there, no, she wanted to go back to the room and she just wanted to call everything off. That was where she was going with that. And like I said, they didn't even show up to dinner. I think they ordered a pizza from room service.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is back before the prefix menu. So
Thank goodness. That'd be tough.
Yes.
So that's my story. Anybody else has one?
Whew, I got one.
All right.
Okay, so it relates to Disney, but I haven't gotten in the park yet. So all right, I guess I need to preface this. Okay, so I have a daughter. At this point, my daughter's in high school. She was learning to become really popular in high school. And so like her sophomore year, she figured out how to get on the homecoming court, which I was able to walk her through that. So that was a privilege. That was an honor. Well, it gets to her junior year, and we were kind of talking about stuff with Disney and everything leading up to it. So I was like, yeah, you know what? We're going to book a trip. And why don't you come? And so she was like, yeah. Well, she did the same thing again, right close to when the trip was coming up. She got popular again, and then she got nominated for the homecoming court again. Well, this time her homecoming takes place during this trip. So I'm like, listen, I've already put the money down. I can't refund it. Like, it was easily, it was a couple of grand. I was like, listen, I understand this is a big thing, but 1, you've already done it. 2, you got a whole nother year to be popular again. And 3, I've already paid. I can't walk you down this thing. Now, she has a stepfather who would, he's like, yeah, I'll step in, which, no dad wants that. But anyway, she agrees to it again. And then, like the week right before we're set to leave, her and her mother call me up at the same time and basically say, she's not going. Now, what she didn't know is that I had saved about $300 or $400 to put, if she wanted to buy merchandise or something while we were there. I got a little upset and said, I'm going to take that money for myself. So I did do that. And so she said, yeah, you go on the trip. I'm doing homecoming. And I was like, man, that's cool. So I went on a Disney trip, and she went and did homecoming.
And to be fair, though, I think you got some of the money back, but it was just like you missed out on the. There was a. I can't remember if it was a Halloween party. I think it was a Halloween party.
Yeah,
that we had booked. And that was like non-refundable.
Her flight was not refundable.
And the flight was non-refundable. So that was what you ate the cost of.
Yeah.
So the question: are you the bad guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
For using the money?
Well, yeah. And also the fact that she had a homecoming and she chose that over the trip. And I don't know if I should say this or if I should wait till I get everybody's vote on this or not. But yeah, why not? A couple of years later, she regretted not going on that trip. Just saying.
Well, so then I guess the question would be, was Hannah the bad guy?
I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. I was like,
Yeah, I think that's what
you're.
you're more asking than anything else.
That's fair.
Was Hannah the bad guy, or were you the bad guy for being upset about the whole thing?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's a twofer. That's
Okay.
fair. Because she made
not
a
a
decision
twofer, but it's one or the other.
One or the other.
Because somebody's a bad guy, somebody's not a bad guy.
Yeah. And her mom was involved, so mom always the bad guy.
Well, she's always the bad guy. No, just kidding. No, I don't think you're the bad guy in that.
Mm.
You still went on the trip. I mean, granted, yeah, you lost money, but you still had your fun because that was something that you had originally planned with you and your daughter. And apparently, I don't have strong feelings about homecoming court
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. So I don't. Maybe I could be a little biased. I don't know how to feel about that particular thing.
It's a fancy dancy thing. For
It
girls.
is, but I never got nominated, and I really never cared and stuff. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a halftime show where the band plays the same thing over and over again, while
Right.
the homecoming coat grows on the field.
We were both on the same
That's all we
court
did.
during that time.
Do you remember all the homecoming kings and queens?
Hell no,
Exactly. So
I don't.
you're
remember that at all.
not the bad guy.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
This is not a New England thing as far as I'm aware of.
Homecoming?
Homecoming?
Really?
Like we have homecoming, but there's no like court.
Oh,
Interesting. Oh.
yeah, they do that here
that's
where there's
big
a
here.
whole big thing
Whole
where
thing.
There's like a game, like a football game.
right,
Mhm.
but like the homecoming king and queen and all the
Yeah.
whole court
Yeah.
gets marched out into the field at halftime
Yeah.
while everyone's getting hot
Yeah.
dogs and going to the bathroom.
Right, they're promoting them.
Oh.
You know, it's a fancy
Yeah.
pass. They get to dress up and all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
you
have,
got,
like-
you get these ladies in heels and dresses going on the football field. That's tore
We have
up.
like prom king and queen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Like
they have that here
Prom,
too, but yeah.
not
Yeah.
homecoming.
The
No.
homecoming's
It's a
thing
different
around
animal.
here.
I never went to homecoming either. I think Kevin, you and I pretty much want to see because you were in the band. I was in RTC, so you probably played the music.
Yeah,
Well,
well, you had to sit
I
there
had
with
to
a
hold the
rifle
swords up.
Yeah, you
or
had to do the
salute
sword
them
thing.
or something.
while they walked under
While
your
they
sword.
walked past,
Yeah.
we're like, ugh. Yeah,
So it was saying boring.
exactly. You got to hold your arm like, hurry up, get past here.
Like it's only an honor for the people doing it. No one else gives a damn.
Exactly.
Pretty much, pretty much, But
No, I'm with you, dude. I don't think you were the bad guy at all. And I remember being in a situation with you. I'm like, she's gonna throw away all that money in a chance to go to Disney? Like, yeah. For a dress that you got to pay for? You're like, yep. And he did pay for the homecoming dress, by the way,
Yeah.
for another guy to
that's
walk
really
her
nice.
down. Yes.
yeah,
Oh, well, you're definitely not the bad guy. Yeah.
No, not the bad guy. All right, Rachel, what's your verdict?
No, I don't think Eli's the asshole. I don't know that I think Hannah is either. Mostly just because it's tough being a teenage girl.
That
those
is
things
true.
are-
yeah.
I can't really.
I don't
pick
know.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do appreciate that she reflected later and was like, "Yeah, I missed out on something." Like, I'm glad she was able to reflect on that.
I agree with Rachel.
Mm. Yeah, the next time she's gone is when my grandson goes and he gets first pass. So if,
Oh,
he
yeah,
says,
absolutely.
if he says his mom don't want to go, she's not going. So
Absolutely.
She had to make that choice herself in order to learn from it. And if she regretted it later, if she was forced out of that decision, then she wouldn't have realized what she had done. Plus, homecoming for a teen. I mean, I don't like kids in the first place, but but for them, it might be something really special to them. So they're not going to quite understand all the financial responsibilities of a Disney trip.
no, that's fair.
Okay, well, I have a story.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Go for it.
So this was back when Happily Ever After very first debuted. We had dessert party tickets, and the dessert party, it's the same way it is now. So you could do your desserts first and then see the fireworks from the, reserved grassy area after your desserts.
Mhm.
So I had read, hot tip, still, I believe it's still this way, that if you get to the dessert party earlier than it's advertised that you should check in, they let you in. So we got to the dessert party early. We ate our desserts early. And so we were done with our desserts and ready to go get a spot in the grassy area as most people were just coming in for the published check-in time.
Okay.
So we got like front row of the grassy area. And I was really, really excited to see this show. Like, I had seen parts of it online. I wanted to see all the projections. The projection stuff on the castle is my favorite part. And so I really wanted to see the projections in the castle and take it all in. I've been looking forward to it. So we get down, we get front row right behind the fence in the grassy area. And I've got little kids. So we sit down and we're sitting and the kids are playing and we're getting ready for the show. And then all of a sudden it's showtime. And in order to really see it, even though you're in that space, you need to stand up to see, because there's people in front of you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? In between you and the castle.
Right.
So in order to really see, you kind of have to stand up. And the people behind me were really angry that we stood up. And they spent most of the beginning of the show, yelling at us to sit down. And I turned around and said, no. And I do think it's a gray area. I was sitting when the show started, I did stand up. There were people behind me, but there were also people sort of in front of me that were standing, but not directly in front of me because we were right behind a fence. I don't know. I might have been the bad guy, but I really wanted to see that show. So I don't know.
Wait, what? Where
Yeah.
were you in relation to the fence?
We were right behind the fence. We were like the first people behind the fence. And there's like a walkway. So it's like the grassy, the hub grass areas, and they're fenced in. And then there's a walkway in front of you. So there's no one like immediately in front of my face. But then there's another section in front of that then would have all the people that are like in the hub and watching the show from the hub. Because you're in those grassy areas, you're behind the hub.
And these sections are not necessarily designated as a seating area, correct?
But not and what? Oh no, it does not say you get seats. The seated like version of that party is you have like a table with seats up in the Tomorrowland terrace area.
So it wasn't defined.
It wasn't defined. It wasn't like Fantasmic at Disneyland.
Right. That's what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not like that. There's no cast member telling you to sit down.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah, because I remember that.
People in the back of the grassy area were standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see the show unless you stood up. Like you couldn't fully see the show.
I could see the fireworks and I could see the top of the castle. I could not see the bottom of the castle unless I stood up.
Then no,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah. It sounds to me like these people that were behind you were just mad that they would have to stand up.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. They didn't want to stand up. And so and she kept saying to me, like, if you would sit down, we could stay seated. And I was like, but I
that's not
don't
the
want
point.
to.
But
Right.
I gotta see it too.
To me, that doesn't sound like an area that you would be able to sit and actually watch a show. You have to stand.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's all
agreed.
great and dandy when I'm sitting there and it like, if somebody is in front of me and it's not a designated seated area and somebody stands up, you're like, oh crap, now I gotta stand down.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna yell at them and say, you need to sit down because I don't want to stand up.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
no,
like when you watch,
yeah.
if you go to a football game or basketball game and all of a sudden everyone starts standing up and it's the fourth quarter, you're like, I don't feel like standing up.
Exactly.
But if you want to see, I mean, everyone's on their feet. You got to
Exactly.
stand up and see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, you didn't do anything wrong there.
When you go to a show
Yeah.
in a theater, in a
Yeah.
musical, and then they're standing up to give the ovation, you're oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
do
That's
that
something I was thinking.
slow
I was like,
clap, and you're like,
Yeah. Elton John's playing Goodbye
Yeah.
Yellow Brick Road. Everyone stands and like, damn these people.
I want to sit.
Yeah.
No, you did the right thing,
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
You
I
made the
no, you're
situation.
fine.
And in fact, I mean, I'd be a little bit pissed at those people because it's like, man, who gave you the right to be the arbiter of who
Right.
stands and who
and
sits?
sits.
Like you're just taking it upon yourself
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
decide for other people.
Yeah, that's the thing is when you get to those particular things where there's like a social norm that's been established, like, hey, I think we're all going to sit down together and enjoy this production.
Mhm.
There's still no official rules that say that you can't stand.
Right.
And
I
so-
certainly was breaking a social norm in that moment. Like we had all been sitting and then the show
Sure.
starts and I stood up in the front of
Which
I
is-
stood up
yeah.
in front of people who were seated. But
Yeah,
they
but-
were seated.
yeah, there's
behind
no-
me.
there's
I got
nothing
there
wrong with it.
first.
That happens all the time at any sporting event,
Mhm.
any musical
Yeah.
event, anything
does.
like that. Everyone starts out sitting. The show starts. Everyone's on their feet.
Yeah, it's
That
like
happens
standing
all the time.
ovation. It's
Yeah.
like if people stand ovation, it's like maybe I didn't want to give a standing ovation, but I still will clap. I don't want to feel peer pressured into giving you a standing ovation.
Now, if the
Yeah.
people in front of you, I mean, if the people right behind you are all of shorter stature and like you standing up, then they can't see nothing at all, then maybe I could see there being a problem there. But if
Yeah.
they could just stand up and they could see and, if they just didn't feel like standing
Yeah.
up, then the hell with them.
Yeah, just tell
Yeah.
them to look in the sky. That's best you have to do.
Right.
Because you couldn't see in front of you. That's the part that what
Right.
she
Yeah.
explained that.
I
It's
did
like,
see a lot of it, but not fully.
The only other thing you could have done was like, look, you can come right up here. You can sit right down in the front
That's
and I'll
true.
stand
I
right
could've
behind you and I'll watch everything. But that's you being
As long as
nice
you
to
stay
somebody
still.
who started off being a jerk.
right.
The
Like the
assumption
person-
that they're going to stay seated.
Right. If the
Yeah.
person behind you said, excuse me,
Yeah.
my wife cannot stand. Do you mind if we, because you're going to stand, do you mind if we
Yeah.
sit? Then you probably would have been,
I probably
but
would've said yes.
they handled it like
Poorly.
jerks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my issue with social norm kind of conventions. It's
Damn
like-
the man,
I
Kevin.
understand.
Damn the
Yeah,
man.
no,
Ain't
absolutely.
your fault. Ain't your
Yeah.
fault.
There's a lot of
the-
social conventions that turned into terribleness that I'll not go on to
Yeah.
the show.
What Danny said reminded me of those. Have you ever been behind somebody who's wearing Mickey ears? And
Yes.
you're like, oh my gosh, if you would just take those Mickey ears off, I'd be able to see.
Mhm.
I hate
Aw.
that. I never say anything because I just feel bad. But
All right, great. So that's some of our stories of Am I the bad guy or not? And whatever else. So if you have stories that you'd like to share that you want to figure out whether or not you were the bad guy or not. And of course, everything is welcome on the show. Definitely get in touch with us. We're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, y'all, we hope you enjoyed that episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. Look, if you want to learn more about us, go to magicourway.com. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, if you want to get in touch with us or share your opinions on anything we've talked about today, you can do so through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call us, send us a text message. Yes, I did say text us at 1-815-MOWEEKEN. That is 1-815.
Weekend.
Just like JP, who texts us a lot. He knows how to do that.
Boom.
That's true, right?
It's mainly yelling. Angry texts.
But we do respond. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, he can vouch that we do respond.
And
to
he
our
has
text.
my number, so he makes sure to copy me on every text of the show.
Did you see this?
Yes.
Now I got Eli on there.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
And speaking of Eli, we have a couple of people who do things outside of the podcast. First of all is Eli. Eli, what you got going on, sir?
Yes, sir. Well, you guys are out there checking out things on the internet, please feel free to visit my website, www.ivycomics.com, where you can see all the work that I have out there. Project Geisha, Savages, and Molly Be Damned. All work of 48 pages, fully colored. The only ad form is for this podcast here. So any support I can get, I appreciate. Again, that's www.ivycomics.com.
48 pages.
Boom, that's a lot. That's more than
That's
what the
amazing.
pros give you. Working my heart out.
Josh,
here.
have you seen his comic book? Or did you get a copy?
haven't yet.
Oh,
Oh.
We can get you an autographed copy.
yeah.
He'll sign it
I'll
right in
take
front
it.
of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay.
It's
There you
going for
Gotcha.
$1.25 on eBay right now.
Hey.
Come on,
Well,
man,
you
get
know,
in.
since I'm still here on this earth, and then once it skyrockets.
Yeah, it'll be like $5.
Yeah, well, it's the value of our friendship right there. Of course, you can always check out blogs and interview posts and a link to this podcast. You never miss a beat. You never miss an episode. You never miss who's the bad guy or how much our friendship is worth out here. So as always, that's how Synergy works. Also on social media, you can find me there, facebook.com, Eli H. Ivy. As long as you're a real person, it's a pleasure to meet you. But if you're a bot, do not need to greet you. I'm so tired of bots telling me they want to buy my home for $1.25 if I just sign up with them now to get Chromecast. I don't get it. I'm done. I no thank you, bots. I'm good.
Chromecast.
Chromecast.
Oh, no.
All the bots try to get in the TV so they go through your camera and see you. So they get your credit card number. I'll trust you.
If you just sell 200,000 copies of your comic book, you can just buy another home.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Maybe sell it to Netflix. They throwing away a lot of money.
There you go.
There you go.
Own.
Boom. Also on Facebook, there's a Project Geisha fan page on facebook.com/Project Geisha. And on Instagram, I'm right up there posting up the hearts and the likes. Ivory504 is where you find me there. And of course, on X, I can be found at Hancock10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation to Disneyland or Walt Disney World or Rachel, you can do any of the Disney parks, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not the Asian parks.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You can't do the Asia parks, but you can do like France.
What do you have against
Yes.
Asian parks?
Absolutely nothing. I wish I could go.
It's a joke.
Ain't nowhere to go at night.
Yes, I can book all of that and more.
Except for the
I
Asian
can
parks.
Yes, that's true. And the cruise line, other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and Virgin Voyages. I can book Universal parks on both coasts as well, and major hotel brands around the world. Today, I was reminded again of one of the greatest reasons to have a travel agent, because we just got some news that Florida looks like they might see a storm this week. We don't know for sure yet, but it looks like maybe. And I had 4 clients that called me in the last 3 hours and all had questions. One thing that I'm helpful for is just like a little bit of history. So clients are like, what kind of experience do you have with this? And in my I think I'm on my 5th or 6th year of selling travel, Disney has closed down, I think 2 times for a hurricane. And so I was able to talk a little bit about what that looked like and what they've done in the past. And And then also the very, very many times that we've thought there was going to be a need for a closure. And then by the time it rolls through Central Florida, it's just rain. So anyway, we don't know what this one's going to be, but I was able to give them some context and then also help them move their dates. A couple of them still wanted to move dates, and that was a very long hold on the phone, but I did it. And I did it so they didn't have to. So hopefully they could just enjoy their night. And, these were people who were planning on leaving tomorrow, and their kids were pretty bummed. They weren't going on vacation anymore. So
bummer.
they got to, no one wants to deal with that, but, at least they didn't have to be on hold while they were also trying to console their kids who were really disappointed. So
yeah,
all good reasons to book with a travel agent, and it is at no additional cost to you.
Mm-hmm.
And a little piece of your vacation comes back to support this podcast community, again, at no additional cost to you. So it is an honor to help people plan their trips, and please reach out. My email is Rachel, RACHEL @magicourway.com. You could also find me by text message. My number is 978-432-WISH. And lastly, if you find me on social media, I'm at R, that's the letter R, Family Magic. So our Family Magic on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And I'd be happy to help you. And I'm excited to hear from you. Please reach out.
All right, we got to wrap up soon, though, because Rachel's got to go fly over and read those kids a bedtime story, tuck them in, make them understand that mommy and daddy still love them. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I don't do that.
Oh, well, you could. That's the plus package.
I could. Yeah. If you'd like to pay me extra, maybe I could do that.
Lightning lane.
They got Hello Mickey. It's like Hello Rachel.
Hello, Rachel.
That's the VIP package.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great. And look, we want to thank JP and Josh for joining us in studio, our California correspondents here in New Orleans, recording with us. Guys, thank you for joining us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's fun.
Thanks
It's
for
day
having
one.
us.
Day one.
Day
We just
one.
started. That's right.
Yeah, we
That's
just
right.
started our trip here.
So anyway, if you want to access all the info we just mentioned, go to magicourway.com/about us. Also, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/magicourway. And another option to support us, and it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right. Nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye!